Welcome to No Substitutes, the intro. Today's guest is Gustavo Turner. I forgot to kind of touch base on how we met. It's a great episode, though, so you'll definitely learn a lot. But how we met was actually, I think, through Instagram, just through mutual friends, because he's a journalist for XBiz, great writer, as well as a very, very great and talented photographer. We did some photo shoots and got to bonding over movies, and he didn't really do a lot of cooking, I guess, growing up, so I was teaching him how to make pasta. And yeah, we've just had a very sweet, beautiful friendship for the last few years. I just felt like I needed to say that because he's a very important person to me. So I hope you guys enjoy the episode because we enjoyed making it for you. What school had better food, Berkeley or Harvard? He went to Berkeley and Harvard, by the way.
I went to Berkeley for college. I went to Harvard for graduate school. But when I went to Harvard, I was also what they call a house tutor, which is is Harvard's version of an RA, but it's very much more elaborate. And at the time, it was hard for me to explain to people where I was living or what kind of thing was. But then the Harry Potter books and movies came out, and now it's very easy. Like Harvard
You're
is
like,
set
I'm
up.
Harry Potter.
No, I have never seen any Harry Potter or read any Harry Potter. But I know that it's set up in houses, and they are all they have like a So Harvard is like that.
Harvard is Hogwarts. Okay.
Yes. Like people that it kind of looks like that too. We had like a dining hall with the big oil portraits and stuff. And so when you're a resident tutor, that means you're a graduate student who lives there.
Okay.
Who is in residence.
That's nice.
And I was there for 5 years. Mm-hmm. You get free room and board.
That's nice.
So the food was free.
Oh. So
and
Harvard.
Every morning you go and there will be like this like cafeteria stuff, but like everything. I ate so many hard-boiled eggs because you could get hard-boiled eggs any time of the day. I think my cholesterol was insane at the time. I think I got gout at some point of eating so many hard-boiled eggs. And then there was a Trader Joe's nearby, so it was Charles Shaw wine and eggs.
You love Trader Joe's.
Yeah. I remember going to the doctor and he's like, we believe this is gout. I'm like, the disease of the kings? And he's like, no, you're just eating too much protein and drinking too much cheap wine.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but it was good. It was, and I was 5 years there. So at some point you start taking for granted that there is this, you come down from your apartment and there is this buffet being served there. And
yeah, that is nice.
That was very nice.
Yeah.
I should have saved more money. I actually didn't save a lot of money, but like.
It's okay.
Yeah. That was good. And then Berkeley was a state school. So it was just like your regular cafeteria. There wasn't any kind of, but Berkeley had like foodies. Like there was Chepanese and all that. Yeah. I never got to go to Chepanese. It was like.
We will one day.
Yes. Please. Yeah. Is she still alive?
Yeah.
The lady?
Alice Waters, yeah. I think sometimes she's there at the restaurant.
Don't they have two? And one is more like a sandwich place, and then there's a proper one?
I think so. I think it might be the same restaurant, but they do lunch and dinner, and the dinner is like booked for weeks and weeks ahead.
You've gone, right?
I've tried.
You tried.
I have not.
What's the wait list?
Every time I look, anytime I know I'm going to go to the Bay, I try to look. I never decide, though, like within the week if I'm going or not. And anytime I check, it's like, no.
What's the one you went? I'm asking questions again, but it's good. It's on topic. What's the one that you went to near San Francisco that is like super like fancy? There's like a one that everybody knows that is a super French Laundry.
Oh, I worked by one, but I did not go there.
Oh, I thought you went there for some reason.
I didn't work there. I worked by it in Napa. Napa also has like a good foodie place. Yeah,
a lot of money there.
But I'm like, it's not even foodie. It's more like, paying like $700 for some truffle.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I can get it at Trader Joe's for like,
I know.
$7.98 or
I
something.
just had truffle hot sauce for the first time, and it changed my life.
Truffle hot sauce.
Black truffle hot sauce.
Where can you get that?
I'm sure Trader Joe's has
Trader
some.
Joe's.
I'm sure.
You know,
Trader Joe's
I
has
live
some.
2 blocks from a
I
Trader
know.
Joe's, so that's literally my, like,
I know.
I don't need a pantry. I can just
know.
go get things. bring them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, we've made dinner a few times.
Yeah.
And walked to Trader Joe's.
Yes.
What is the article / story that you're most proud of in your career so far? Mine. No.
Well, no, yours isn't because by the time it came out, the day it came out, she
day it
announced
came
her
out.
retirement.
Yeah,
the day
that's true.
it came out, I'm like, her future is so promising. She's doing so many things, and that day she's like, I'm done with this.
Well, because I want to do other things.
I know, but it took forever to come out.
I want to do and we talked about it in the article, I do want to do like intimacy coordinate or produce or something,
But it got bumped too. It was supposed to be out a month before. So
Yeah.
it wasn't your fault.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there you go. I've written a lot of things about different things over time. Like I've covered a lot of things. I've covered the adult industry now for 10 years.
Oh, wow.
And about
Nice.
5 or 6 for XBiz, meaning like daily and inside. But before I was writing out film, I was writing out music. For a spell, I was the music editor at LA Weekly, which was the alternative weekly paper here in Los Angeles. And since I was the editor, I could assign myself whatever I wanted.
Fun.
Yeah. So a publicist was telling me that David Lynch was going to put out a single. And I'm like, well, I'm not the film editor here, but he's putting out music, so it's fair game. And so I got to hang out with David Lynch.
I do.
And that was the best.
That's where you got that photo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We took a photo too.
He loves that photo. It's hanging up at his house.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a great photo, though.
Yeah. A rare occasion of me getting all fanboy and getting a photo. Yeah.
Yeah. That must have been heady. How was that?
He's
him?
great. He's great. He's like great to talk. Besides the fact that he's a genius filmmaker and a great artist and a real, true, all great filmmakers are artists. But David Lynch is also like a fine artist. He's like a museum level artist. And he's kind of like the last of the surrealists. He's very influenced by the surrealists of the 20s through the 50s. So that's his point of reference, really. And a lot of what he does in film has a lot to do with these obscure movies, the art movies that were done in the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s by Marcel Duchamp and, all the great surrealists. He's steeped into that. So he's great. But he's also like a super nice guy. He is like the guy that you see in the videos and the interviews, super smart and really friendly. Well, Gustavo, well, you have to know. It's amazing. It's amazing. And I was for an hour in his art studio.
Oh, that's so cool.
Just sat there, drank his coffee. He has his own brand of coffee that he serves to you.
Oh my gosh, that's so awesome.
Yeah. I don't think I will ever be able to beat that as like fanboy.
So this is just.
yeah. Well, you're interviewing me, so
I know.
it's not.
That's no. Well, never mind. What do you think the big difference is between the mainstream media and the more confined adult industry media?
Well, I work for a trade publication, so that is a very specific kind of publication. It's not geared to the general public. It's a business to business, which they call B2B. It's a B2B publication in the same way that the Hollywood Reporter or Variety are for the mainstream industry.
Yeah.
XBiz is for the adult industry. And so it's a very specific kind of writing that has to do with business. And sometimes I get to cover things that are interesting to other people. And when I cover war on porn stuff or censorship stuff, I have a vantage point that the mainstream media doesn't have because I'm looking at it from the point of view of the people who actually are going to get harmed if there is censorship coming in.
Yeah.
But a lot of the reporting that I do has to do with business. And so that's a big difference. It's for a completely different audience, completely different rules, completely different relationship with the companies, you know. It's a very specific kind of publication that I had never worked for a trade publication before. I've worked for all kinds of other publications, academic, popular, alt weeklies, daily papers, so forth. I had never worked for a publication that is just geared to business. And so I had to learn a lot. I learned a lot. My boss taught me a lot. You know, Alec Helmy, who started XBiz and is the publisher, he's very specific about how he wants things covered. He's very specific about, you know, a lot of things. And I learned so much from him about covering business from a business point of view, from a business standpoint.
Yeah.
So that has been, I'm always learning. I'm always learning new things. I'm like, and I think that that's really important to survive as somebody who makes creative content. You can never rest because things change and then you need to update yourself.
Yeah, for sure. It's like I feel like that's the beauty of being in that kind of field. It's just the adaptability.
Yeah. I mean, the beauty, but also the panic, you know, it's like, I mean, like, I know a lot of creators. I've never had an inkling to this in any way, but I know a lot of people who come from writing or photography or film that were about 2 years ago getting desperate on how do I make TikToks? How do I make TikToks? And they had to. Yeah. You have to. I'm just not, but I may have to at some point. You know, it's just vertical video and it's fast and you had to make faces and stuff. And like,
yeah, I get it.
Yeah, you gotta. You have to go where the audience is. Whatever audience you want to reach, you have to go where they are. You have to meet them where they are. They're not going to come find you.
Right. They're like, where is the Argentinian film buff journalist / photographer who...
Very handsome. You forgot very handsome in the middle of it. Yeah.
You know, They're not like...
No. The AI is not the AI may deliver an AI version of me that would look nothing like me and like probably be very strange.
Yeah. No, some of the people that I'm seeing doing the AI stuff, some of them their AI looks like them, and then some people I'm like, that don't look like you.
No.
What are you trying to sell?
I haven't messed with it at all. I may have to at some point.
Yeah,
as a tool, but like I have stayed away. I've never opened ChatGPT or like
no.
I use it because I have an eBay store where I sell just random stuff.
Right.
And eBay has an AI for the description of the item, which is a perfect use for it because it's just like busy work, like entering specs.
You don't need to be a poetic with that. No.
It makes it for you.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That is nice.
So AI is not all evil. You know?
No. Well, I want to get more into some food stuff.
Food stuff. Yeah. We love food.
Mm-hmm. What is a family recipe that has been passed down in your family?
I don't. So I didn't grow up in a family that did that kind of thing. Like I didn't grow up in a family that passed on recipes or that had that.
No.
It was a very kind of daily cooking thing, like just a few things that were made every day over and over and over that were common. But, you know, I grew up in the lower middle class in Buenos Aires. Like, so a lot of people who have my background ate the same things. Milanesas, just the breaded, really thin meat that is not very expensive. That's why it's so popular. And then they put egg and bread and flip it and cook it. Everybody can do it either oven or fried with mashed potatoes. Milanesa con puré is just like a basic staple, you know, broth with pasta, like orzo stuff.
Yeah.
You know, no salad, no greens. Greens don't exist over there.
It's funny because we always make sure we have greens when we do dinner at your house.
We do. Now I've improved my
I've improved.
diet thing.
Yes.
Yeah. But so that's the general. I say Argentinian just in general, but I'm more specifically, I grew up in Buenos Aires. I'm a Buenos Aires person.
Okay.
So Argentina is a hugely
Is that like
diverse
saying,
country.
is it like when French people are like, I'm Parisian?
Yes, and
Okay.
or the best example in America is
New
you
York?
wouldn't call a New Yorker an
American. Yeah, that's fair.
because it's a very specific thing. If you
Yeah.
grew up all your life in New York and you didn't get out of New York much, you don't know.
You're a New Yorker.
Yeah,
You're a
you have
different breed
no
of
traits
American.
from Michigan or California or the Pacific Northwest.
Okay. That
So
makes
I'm like
sense.
that with Buenos Aires. Like
Okay.
I know very little about the rest of Argentina. It's very diverse. They have very different food cultures
Okay.
in different places, but I am from the city.
City boy.
Now, the crossover from the countryside to the city is the asado. And the asado is just this massive thing that people do on Sundays where they eat more meat than you can think of. Like all the parts of a cow, plus 3 chickens, plus pork. And they all put it on a grill. Sometimes you can see construction workers, or you could when I grew up in the 80s, construction workers who put like 2 bricks and put a metal grate on it and just make a fire under it and make this barbecue of a whole cow and other stuff and like
Oh my.
sweet meats and like crazy, and that's the asado. So a lot of Argentine men learn the asado from their dads, and it's like one of the male things over there. Now I never did any of the male things. I have a very particular relationship with my dad. My dad was not a very communicative person. So I never got a lot of what I call the male drag, like the performance of masculinity as an Argentine male, the tango, the soccer. These are things that I don't have. I don't have them on me. I have a little bit of tango as a listener, but I can't dance. I don't know anything about soccer, which makes me a terrible Argentine because that's the thing an Argentine man must devote. It's like
off his interests.
It's like Texas and football. It's like you cannot think of a person who's not into it. Like, and I'm not. I know nothing about it. And so I didn't get also the asado, which would be a neat skill to have. But a lot of people who grew up with me, who are my friends, they would, if you give them cow parts and a grill, they will be able to make a delicious barbecue. And it's on a Sunday. And it's very gendered. The women stay in the kitchen, literally, and chatting, gossiping, and making salad. And then the men just stare in front of the grill and go like, it's a little bit like the American barbecue, but more gaucho. So it's a gauchified version of the American barbecue thing. I like to eat it, but and you can't get good one. It's one of the things you have to go there and get it on site.
You taught me how to make the Argentine pancake.
Well, that was a tortilla de papas. That was a potato omelet, and that's Spanish. A lot of it comes from Spain. A lot of it is very bland. Argentinian food or Buenos Aires food tends to be, for American taste buds, very bland.
Okay.
I went there with an American girlfriend once, and we literally spent like more than half a day trying to find a bottle of sriracha because she was losing her mind. She was trying to find greens that she could eat, which was hard because the lettuce was wilted and stuff. Like, they don't like greens.
They don't like greens.
And sriracha because she needed to put something on the meat because it was just flavorless for her. They only used like salt and chimichurri a little bit, which is
I love some chimichurri. Yeah.
So that's the long version to say I didn't really I learned how to do. I know how to do a few of the like day to day, like the potato omelet, tortilla de papas. Empanadas are great over there. And the one thing that I miss that I really, because I don't go back, I rarely went back, and I haven't been back in like 12 years, and I don't go back. But the thing that I really miss is the pizza, and that's what people don't know about. Like the Buenos Aires pizza is the best pizza in the world, hands down.
Okay.
Better than Italian, better than Chicago. It's amazing. I don't know what they do.
I don't know what they do.
The dough is really yeasty. It's more yeasty.
I'm going to go to Buenos Aires and I'll report back.
Yeah, Google Las Cuartetas, which is the place in Buenos Aires pizza, and just look at what that pizza looks like. It's just, and the cheese is all super oily and about this much on top of it. And then they top it with a little piece of chickpea cake called faina. It's like an Arabic dish.
Interesting.
And it's just topped on the cheese. You make like a sandwich. Whoa. It's amazing. And you can't get it here anywhere.
Right. You've tried to find it.
I tried to make it. I can't make the faina. It's really difficult because it has to get like a little film on. It's
okay.
Yeah, you gotta go there.
Okay, I'll have to go.
Yeah, and then send me pictures and gloat. I'm having the pizza.
Yes, I will. Who are some people that have helped you grow, you would say?
People that have helped me grow.
Just through life.
I try, like what I was saying before about being a writer and observing, I try to learn from people around me, from, people that I admire, that I may not know personally.
For sure.
I learn a lot from people that I don't agree with and I may dislike. I learn a lot from people like that because it makes me look at the things that I believe or that I feel strongly about in a way that is not kind. Because I can look how they're looking at what I do or what I think.
Yeah.
And it's good for me to not, to not get too settled in my ideas.
Yeah, I think that's something a lot of people lack when it comes to debating and talking about opinions, especially online these days.
Yeah.
Is not getting too emotionally invested and taking it too personal. You have to be more logical. And I think there's actually an Anthony Bourdain quote. I don't have to agree with you to respect you.
Yeah.
I don't have to like what you say. I don't even have to like you, but we can all, I feel like, debating and talking and observing, learning from people. It's way more fun when you're not getting all riled up and emotional and you just see someone else's. You're like, okay, well,
it gets difficult. It gets difficult when people say things that are patently untrue.
Right.
But it's a challenge, and it's it's a. On the other hand, for long I've been a person who's very much disliked what public discourse became in the age of Twitter, or X as they call it now. I recommend that people only use it for promotional purposes. In my case, it just so happens that what I'm promoting are articles that sometimes are controversial, so I cannot avoid getting in it. But it's such a toxic culture and a way of communicating. One important ingredient, when you were asking me about ingredients for being a writer who writes about reality or journalism, is that you gotta be ready to correct course if you're wrong. Even if the worst person in the world points out something and you're wrong, just immediately acknowledge it and reverse course, because I see a lot of people just doubling down because that's what Twitter is. This happened recently to me. Like the woman who passed or sponsored the law in Louisiana about age verification for porn, which is a specific issue, and she's like a religious conservative, and the goal is censorship. Like the goal is to shut down Pornhub in Louisiana and so forth. That's her agenda. And I don't know why. There was an unrelated story in Louisiana, and I'm like, I bet her, I put on Twitter, I bet her she's really happy that this thing happened. An unrelated law that was similar, or a decision by a judge. And she quote tweeted me and said, actually, she was on the right side of the thing. She was on the same side on me. And I'm like, immediately I took down what I had put. I screen capped it. I said, look, I said something really stupid. She actually supported something that would not be bad for people over there.
Right.
And she acknowledged it. And I actually feel good when I do things like that, because there's a back and forth the way it should be.
Yeah.
Even with people who don't share a common ground.
Yeah.
But it doesn't happen very often.
I bet. Especially on that platform.
Yeah. Yeah. We know in the industry it becomes this just like toxic people going at each other for the stupidest reasons. And
That's like always where the tea is spilled.
Yeah, the tea. With the little frog drinking the little thing.
It's spilled. Ooh, I like this question. Who was your favorite teacher when you were a kid? Do you remember?
Define kid. So what ages are we talking about?
I know, I'm like...
Yeah, because I had a favorite teacher when I was about 15, 16, but I don't know if that counts.
Yeah.
That count?
Yeah, I'll say that.
So I went to high school in Buenos Aires, to a very good high school that was like kind of like a magnet school that you had to test into.
Yeah.
It was free. It was completely free.
Wow.
There was no corruption, which was rare for Argentinian culture. Like you couldn't buy your way into the school. You just had to study your ass off when you were 11 and 12. Like for 2 years, you had just to cram, and then you took a test. And then you either made the cut or didn't.
Okay.
It's one of the things. And it was great. It was great. And I had this teacher who was a playwright, and he was a teacher of literature. And he had been exiled by the fascist government that was in Argentina when I was a kid. There was a fascist government from the ages of 6 to 12.
Wow.
That's also why I feel so strongly about censorship, about, like extreme right-wing politics. It's something that I witnessed when I was a kid, and you don't want that. You don't want it. Like, it's bad.
Yeah.
And so this guy had been exiled, and he came back, and he was teaching at my school, and he was great. He was like a great guy, and told me books to read that were not on the syllabus. They're like, oh, if you like this kind of stuff. And the first English novel that I read it with a dictionary when I was teaching myself English because he had told me to go get it. And I like, fuck it, let's read it in English. And I just went word by word. And and I finished. I still have it. I have the copy that he gave me. I have it.
Oh, that's awesome. I could
As
see...
I Lay Dying by William Faulkner.
Oh, I feel like I see that a lot with how you are with people, like the way you recommend books and film. Like when you talk to me about when you found out I liked film, the way we talk to each other about movies. It's, I don't know, I think you have a good skill of seeing people for who they are and then also relating to them through arts.
Yeah, I mean, like naturally I have that kind of didactic thing. And I did finish my doctorate at Harvard, so I could have gone into academia and become a professor. But I was very turned off by everything else that was not teaching and researching that the profession entailed. I was very, very turned off by like the politics, but not big politics, but like the interpersonal stuff that make academia what it is. I did not gel with that at all.
Sometimes, or most of the time, it's they're usually following an agenda.
They lose a lot of good teachers. No, it's a lot of like little power plays among themselves for very little money. It's all like, if you're going to be in a highly volatile social situation, you might as well be in a corporation and make millions of dollars or be a lawyer or something. Yeah. These are professors all like screwing each other in like tiny, minute ways to become sub-dean of this and get a budget to go on a field trip. It's all ridiculous, and I think they're losing a lot of good, talented teachers by the whole system being so corporate.
Yeah.
It's the worst aspects of corporate things with no money. I mean, if you're going to be entangled in that kind of thing, you might as well have like 3 Tesla trucks or whatever it is that rich people do.
3 Tesla trucks.
Yeah, raise them with your friends.
God, those are
In the LA
So
River,
ugly.
3 Tesla trucks. Just
Oh my God, no.
disciples of this.
Disciples. I don't like that. They're not attractive.
I had this idea. Maybe you're. I had this idea to start an urban legend that if you pee on a Tesla, a rainbow shows on the side of the Tesla, and just see how many people just go and pee on the Teslas. Yeah,
They're like, this guy's full of shit.
Hashtag rainbow on a Tesla.
Hashtag. That's funny.
This podcast does not condone vandalism. Please do not.
Yeah,
do that. That was a joke.
That was a joke.
Don't rainbow on the Tesla. As far as I know, it doesn't rainbow if you pee on the Tesla.
Unfortunately. Sorry, guys. What's a life event that shaped you?
A life event that shaped me. Well, the reason I ended up at Harvard is funny because I'm not a Harvard person. There is such thing as a Harvard person. The first time I saw one was when I got there.
When you told me you went to Harvard, I was a little shocked for sure.
Yeah, when I got there, I actually remember going to the dining hall, not the Harry Potter one, but just the dining hall for graduate students that we had there. And I saw a preppy. Person for the first time because I had lived on the West Coast. And I totally thought, whoa, the bad guys from Animal House are real. And like, I didn't think they existed with like the pop-up polo shirt and the buzz cut and like, hi, how are you? Like, I'm like, where am I?
The chats.
But the reason I ended up there is very funny. I had finished at Berkeley and I was teaching high school in Orange County for a year. And I was applying to go back to Berkeley to study literature, to do a doctorate in literature because I thought I wanted to be a professor at that point. And there was an application, and the application, you could apply for up to 4 schools. But I only wanted to be in California, so I applied to Berkeley, UCLA, and UC Irvine. And then I was sitting in the kitchen in Orange County, and I was living with this woman at the time, and I'm at the kitchen and don't know what I'm doing, and she's at the table looking at the application, and she's like, hey, it says it costs the same to apply to 4 schools than it costs to apply to 3 schools. And I'm like, yeah, but what other school in California is good for what I wanted to do? It's like, I don't know. She's like, we're paying the same, just apply for a 4th one. I remember saying, like what, Harvard? And so she literally put the little cross next to it and we sent the application. And I got in.
I got in.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Amazing.
I would say that that's a moment that really was one of those like completely bizarre moments because people like their parents went there, their grandparents went there, they prepare, they buy the t-shirt.
It's an Ivy League.
Yeah, they prepare for this, they go to prep school.
And you just did it as a joke. And
it wasn't a joke even, it was just more like I'm like
being
washing
sarcastic.
Something, like, yeah, like what? And,
sure,
yeah, and
Harvard.
then I ended up there.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And they paid me to go there.
Right, that's even better.
Yeah.
Because people pay,
shit.
People pay like an arm and a leg to go there.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I spent 8 years there.
Yeah. What were you studying there again?
English literature. I studied medieval for a couple of years, and then I studied...
Medieval? Awesome.
I studied Renaissance, early modern, like Shakespeare.
Did you go to the Renaissance Fair this year?
I did go to... Did I go this year? No, I didn't go. I went last year.
Nice. I didn't, but I saw many videos.
I missed it this year, yeah.
Looked fun.
It started at Berkeley.
Really?
Like near in the Bay Area. Like I knew that when I was studying at Berkeley, I knew that they were old hippies, like D&D people, hippies.
That makes sense.
Swingers. Apparently, after hours, it turns into like a huge orgy, the Renaissance Fair. Allegedly. I don't know this, but I've been told this.
It probably does.
Yeah, and somebody told me that the women if you had to wear green and it means that you're like fun.
Oh.
Yeah. Somebody's like, look for the green wenches and stuff. I'm like,
look for the green wenches.
What is this? Yeah.
I don't know if I want to be at any place where someone's calling me a wench and then we're having sex.
I mean, you could go right now to the...
Shit. I like green. I do like green. But...
Have you been to the Renaissance Fair?
Not here. They have it in Northern California too.
Yeah, I think that's the original one.
Well, in Humboldt.
Oh, like
Yeah, that. I used to go when I was a kid. Haven't been in a while.
Was
They
it
were
fun as a
yeah,
kid?
it was fun. Yeah, get fake swords made out of like styrofoam and.
The markup is insane on
Yeah.
the cosplay and stuff. I got peer pressure into getting a
I
pirate
used
shirt.
to I used to see grown men doing LARPing in the
Yeah.
redwood forest.
Were there any green wenches with them? No,
No, it was always just dudes. Yeah. But I was like, wow.
Wench-free LARPing.
Wench free, yeah. There's no
That's the
girls,
title
no
of the
wenches
episode.
allowed.
It's wench-free LARPing.
Oh my God. Yeah. Looked fun.
Did you ever do any kind of like cosplay type thing that requires elaborate garb of any kind?
Nope. Should I? Is there a revenue?
In your next incarnation, you could be a massive cosplayer.
Yeah.
What would you cosplay if you were to like spend like $1,000 on an elaborate costume garb thing? What would be your?
I feel like I could do good at Lilo.
Lilo from Fifth Element? Yeah.
Lilo Dallas.
Yeah.
Multipass.
With or without a wig? Would you do your wig?
Yeah.
It has to be a wig.
Yeah.
Is
But
it
that's the thing. My hair is just, there's too much hair to even, I don't know.
Yeah. Is there are like redhead like characters, right? Like
Ariel.
but with a curly thing and like I feel Marvel has redheads. I know nothing about this. I'm just spitballing.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know, honestly.
Yeah.
What are some unpopular food opinions you have? Apparently, Argentina having the best pizza. I
It
feel
has
like
the best
we're
pizza.
gonna
It has the
yeah.
best pizza. I will take no questions about that.
I was gonna say,
Go
I'm
Google
like-
it, look it up.
Yeah.
You're gonna be wanting to go there and taste the pizza.
Hopefully, there's no New Yorkers in the comments being like,
I've
dude.
had New York pizza. It's okay. It's okay. It's fine.
Yeah.
No, I eat whenever somebody says, do you have any dietary restrictions? I said, I eat everything except for 4 things. And people are like, you're crazy. This is not acceptable. Why are those your 4 non-things?
Okay.
My 4 things are pickles, pepperoni, avocado, and mustard.
Okay.
Those
so you
4
don't
things.
like food.
There you go. See, I'm being unpopular.
I'm not going to shame you for
not
this.
Not only
It's
that,
fine.
but if they've touched, avocado is fine because it's a texture thing, it's not the taste. But the other 3, if they touch something, I
Yeah.
can't even eat the part.
Right. You're like, no.
No.
Okay, I get that.
I'm the one who orders the burger and every single time has to say no pickle. And they're like, it doesn't have pickle. I'm like, I know, but
Don't
still,
even
don't
accidentally
No.
put it on there and then
Not
take
on the
it off.
side. No, yes.
Yeah.
Don't. Sometimes they're like, we can take it off. I'm like, it touched the meat. It's just like
Okay.
it's tainted by the pickle.
It's pickle tainted.
It's pickled.
Wow, you must have lost your shit when you saw me in a pickle costume on my Instagram.
Well, that was your cosplay. See, that was your answer for cosplay. What was your cosplay? A pickle.
Pickle.
And you can be a green wench as well. Double
God.
up.
Just show up to the Ren orgy as a pickle.
I'm sure they won't mind.
Right. They're like, whoa. I mean, I went to Kinky Rabbit in that costume.
You did? How come? Don't you have to be like all like... Was
No,
it a sexy pickle?
It was Halloween. Was it a sexy pickle?
Yeah.
No, it was Halloween. And I know the owners, so I think they were just like, it's fine.
Oh,
But
you
yeah.
weren't working it.
No.
You went, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
They won't let
I
you.
just went with Remy, and then once Remy found someone to play with, I left because I was just...
Who was he? What did he dress up as?
He went in like a skeleton onesie,
All right.
like he's 8 years old.
Low effort.
Yeah,
Low effort.
yeah. Yeah, but he said once I left, he's like, so many couples came up to me asking me where the pickle was. It's like, oh no. Gross.
We don't judge. We don't kink shame anybody.
Right.
Pickle
Sorry.
people.
Yeah, if you're into Spain pickles. My bad.
Yeah.
Ooh, if you could host dinner for anyone alive right now, who would it be and what would you cook for them?
Anyone alive? Who's alive right now?
Who's alive?
Yeah.
Who's still kicking?
Grace Jones.
Oh, yeah, you would.
Yeah. Grace Jones.
Yeah. What would you make for Grace Jones?
Whatever she wants.
You're like, I will learn on the
You don't
spot.
give things to Grace Jones. Grace Jones demands things from you and you deliver them.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will watch a lot of YouTube videos on how to prepare whatever it is. She's so amazing. I saw her at the Hollywood Bowl a few years ago, and it's like, I don't understand how this person exists. It's just like...
Yeah, she has one of those auras that are just, yeah. You're like, you're almost not of this world.
No, she did
such an icon.
A medley, like a 20-minute medley at the end, completely naked, painted with body paint, and hula hooping through the whole thing, singing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, what is... And she's like 70. I'm like, what is happening right now?
She still looks phenomenal. Yeah. No, it's a good answer.
Yeah, love her.
What's the most adventurous or unusual food you've ever tried? Would you try it again? Was it pickles?
I've never traveled to, like, I guess China is the place where people have a lot of the unusual stuff.
Did you go to China?
No, I've never traveled to China, so I'm like, I'm like, if I went to China, I would try anything they give me. I'd see if I like it. But no, I don't. That's a really good question, but I don't think I eat a lot of
adventurous.
Yeah, like what was your answer? What's the most adventurous?
I think when I tried bugs in Thailand, or
I had chapulín here. Like there is one type of Mexican cuisine, maybe it's Oaxacan,
right?
Where they eat like grasshoppers that are kind of
yeah.
And it just tastes like snack.
I've had a rabbit foot soup.
Ooh, could you see it? Did he have the? Oh no, no, I don't like that.
Sorry.
Yeah, I don't like.
Oh, and I had. Wait. Rabbit. It was rabbit. Oh, I ate rabbit meat, but then I had frog soup. It wasn't rabbit soup. It was
the frog.
But I did eat rabbit.
I mean,
and
does
escargot
Does escargot count as?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of,
snail.
I don't know.
Yeah. Have you had snail?
Yeah.
Would you try it again?
It's too rich.
Yeah.
I have a texture thing. It's similar thing with the avocado. Anything that tastes like you're eating butter out of the stick of butter, that's how I feel with avocado.
You just gotta take a light layer of avocado.
No, I don't know.
No?
No. It's one of the four.
Okay.
It's not that bad. That means I eat everything else.
Yeah.
What did Holly said about the weirdest thing she ate?
I don't think we asked her.
Oh, okay. Just for the men.
Yeah.
Just for the men. What did you put in your mouth?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What would you say is the most important thing to you right now?
The most important thing for me right now? I think we're living through for those of you watching this in the future, we are in June 2024, and it's a very strange time, both politically and technologically in America.
Yeah.
So I think that the most important thing right now is just to be alert and aware and be ready to pivot and transition in many ways, because making a living, staying alive, functioning in the world is turning very strange. I mean, I'm older than you, and I've seen a lot of things go through.
Yeah.
And this is a weird
one.
weird time.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a war in Europe that has been going on for 3 years, and nobody knows what's happening, and it's just crazy stuff that I did not grow up with.
Yeah.
that is very strange to me, and people idolizing technology in a way where they become like fanboys of technology and entrepreneurs. And I'm like, why? How is this affecting your life? Like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
So those things are important to me right now. Kind of like staying aware and healthy and be ready for whatever it is that's coming, which the people in the future already know what came, and
they survived it.
yeah. So
yeah,
we'll see.
We will see.
We'll see.
We have some fan questions.
Fan questions.
We do. We have one question from a fan and two from producers. First one is from a fan, Chris Martz 20, and this is for Gustavo. They want to know your favorite and least favorite thing about your jobs as a photographer and journalist, for the adult industry specifically.
My favorite thing is that the way I describe it is that I joined the circus when I started doing that full time. So it is a great group of people. Like I do feel at home with the people who are in the adult industry. There's a sense that you're doing something, there's a sense of a community that you don't find in a lot of places, particularly in Los Angeles, particularly within entertainment. It's its own self-contained community. And some of the people that I met are some of the smartest, most interesting people, including you, including Holly Randall, who was here before, Casey Calver, Cherie DeVille, Seth Gamble. Like, these are people who are like driven and smart and have
Talented,
careers that last a long time. And, I admire a lot of the people that I admire, and I admire how they carry themselves and how they see their career and their life, are now part of the people that I spend a lot of time with. And so my job allows me to be adjacent to that industry. Also, a lot of my friends are very hot, and that's a fact. It's like, we all have friends. This self-selects for a certain kind of beauty. So that's fun too. The thing I don't like about it is that it is a very stigmatized community and profession, and so I do get some, I don't get it. I always say I'm not a sex worker, so I'm never going to get how it feels like to be one of you guys and getting the full brunt of it. But I get some adjacent stigma, and it's bad, and it's just sad that society just decides to discriminate against people who choose to work with sexuality and who have become de facto the sexual information for the vast majority of the world. And that's not a good thing.
No.
It should, other people should be doing it.
Many people in this industry will always say, like, you should not be using porn as your sexual education, or like to thinking like that's how you should fuck. But I feel like I'm seeing a lot of people adjacent to the industry or within the industry that are creating more platforms, or videos, like what's her name, Alex, who does Pornhub. I feel like I see her
Cassie,
do.
Alex
Yeah.
Cassie.
Yeah. And then
I mean, there is an opportunity in there, but it's an opportunity that is being taken up because the people who are responsible for educating the next generations on sexuality have dropped the ball and are actively fighting it, and are like, now we're at a point where like libraries have any books that have any mention of sex being completely taken out. So it's just tough. Like the stigmatization and the way that people continue teaching young people that sexuality has to be tied to shame is just disgusting to me. And it's something that my job forces me to look at every day because it's my job to report on this. Yeah. And it's a bummer. Like if you have to do it every day, I'm like, no, this thing again. Yeah. This like myth, this myth, no, for generalization again. Yeah, that's bad.
It's always interesting when people have such strong negative feelings towards something and the power that they give it. Like the people that are trying to, censor it and get rid of it all completely. It's just, instead of just educating themselves, I don't know. It's weird. I'm like, wow, you stay up at night and get so enraged by something that is actually a very natural thing. I don't know.
People rely on religion for a lot of things that their life needs.
Yeah.
And that's a great thing that religion does because it answers questions that logic or things like that can't answer. But there is a perversion of religion, which is the desire to get rich out of it or get followers out of it. And, and in America, Christianity has devolved into this thing where like they're literally espousing things that are the opposite of anybody who's read a Bible would say. Like, be nice to people who are disenfranchised or they're poor or like or they're marginalized. It's right there. It's in the freaking book. But they're like, no, we're going to go in the other direction and we need a mega church with some guy with 3 Tesla trucks.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the discourse on sexuality is tied into all that. They perverted something that should be good and helpful to people, and they made it into a tool for censorship or for spreading ideas of shame.
Yeah.
And they're all hypocrites. They eventually, all of them get caught, and 8 times out of 10 is because of some sexual hypocrisy.
Something, yeah.
Yeah. That's just... Yeah, it's not fun to be having to have a microscope to that every day, and that's part of my job.
All right. Producer questions.
Yes. So we wanted to know why you don't go back to Argentina.
I grew up there. Buenos Aires is a very intense city. I think that analogy I gave with New York is a good one. I'm sure there's other places I could go to, but like I grew up there. I spent my first 19, 20 years there. And it's expensive to go from here to there and to spend time there, So if I had the kind of money to take an expensive vacation, there's a lot of other places in the world that I haven't been to that I'd rather go. Japan is number 1 on my list. I would love to go to Japan.
It's pretty affordable right now. The yen is the lowest it's been since 1990.
Really?
Yep.
Let's go to Japan.
Well, I just got back.
Oh yeah. Yes, that's right. Yeah. How was it?
It was amazing.
Yeah.
You would definitely love it.
Yeah,
You would love Tokyo.
I want to go. There is the oldest hotel in the world that has a hot springs, like a
an onsen.
An onsen, the oldest onsen in the world.
Yeah.
Has been in operation for like.
Yeah.
I want to go there.
I wasn't allowed. I have tattoos.
Oh, they still have that rule? I thought they were relaxing.
Maybe not in Tokyo, but Kyoto, yeah. And Kyoto's like one of their oldest cities.
I'm good. No tattoos.
I know.
0.
You're good. Look at you go.
Yeah.
Me and my boyfriend, we tried to go to the hotel where they filmed Lost in Translation to have a drink.
Yeah.
And it was being renovated. It was so sad. I wanted to go have a little...
Suntory?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And
like Bill Murray. Yep.
Some Roxy music?
Yeah. I thought I was going to have my moment, but it's okay.
Next time.
I know. I want to make sure it's open next time. But yeah.
Yeah, I love Japan.
Another producer question.
Yes. The final question we have is, do you think the U.S. will ever catch up to places like the Netherlands when it comes to sex work?
Well, I am going to go for work. XBIZ organizes the European show in the Netherlands. So I'm going there in September. Mm-hmm. And we were there last year. Before, XBIZ used to have the European show in Berlin.
Berlin, yeah.
So we've been in Amsterdam 1 year, and we're going back. Mm-hmm. That made me familiarize myself with what sex work is in the Netherlands. I think the question is outdated, actually. The Netherlands had a lot of right-wing politics pushing things to extremes, and there is a large contingent of people that are very much, we should not have legalized sex work. And they do understand that the red light district is kind of a tourist attraction, so there is some tension. There's a three-way tension between the sex workers and sex worker advocacy groups. There is this woman named Cristina Castelia, who's fantastic, who is a creator, and that I met over there, and she told me a lot about those kind of struggles. So there's the sex workers. There is the people in the city that want to keep the money coming, and it's a tourist draw. And then you have the censorship people, and they're all like pulling in all different directions. I think that it's, for now, there was a reprieve, and the red light district is still there, but it's very contested. I mean, Dutch society has what we would call progressive elements, but like every place in the world, there is a rise in very conservative or outright repressive elements in it too.
Would you say that too about Berlin? Or would you say Berlin?
Less so, because Berlin is Germany is an incredibly conservative place. And then they use Berlin as the gasket where they let the steam out. So Berlin has always been like, oh, the degenerates can all move there. And then meanwhile, we'll have Bavaria still looking like 1952, you know?
For sure.
Yeah, yeah. So Berlin has that kind of like, well, we'll let people there. But I have friends in Berlin, and they told me that, you know, of course, Germans are Germans, so there's still going to be people who are very kind of conservative and stuck in their like kind of like authority rules.
Right.
Still in there.
Which one did you like better, Berlin or Amsterdam for Expo?
So Amsterdam, I didn't know this until we went there, but I don't know if you guys have been there. It is completely...
I've been in Amsterdam, I just haven't been to the
This
Expos.
is why you should never negotiate with cyclists, because if you negotiate with cyclists, they will take over your city. There is no pedestrian lane.
Yeah, no.
People are like, oh, is there like a big bike lane? I'm like, the whole city is a bike lane.
Yeah.
You set foot, and there's people coming in different directions trying to murder you. So that part I didn't enjoy very much.
No.
But
It's
I like both of them.
Yeah.
Europe is quaint. I always feel like I'm in a theme park. I always feel like I'm in Disneyland when I'm in Europe.
I feel like I could see you in Europe. I could see you living somewhere like Berlin or Amsterdam or Copenhagen.
I like opportunity. America, to me, is a place of opportunity. I think Europe is a place...
You would have to adapt to more of a different...
I think all the chips were doled out in Europe 300 years ago, and then you're going to born and die wherever you are. You're a butcher, your child is going to be a butcher.
Right.
Everything is contained because it's so socially stratified.
Have you been to Paris?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Talk about an example of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Paris is like, you know, the Nepo baby thing. It's like an entire city of Nepo baby, but from the royalty, not even the revolution. They go back to like, it's all these like in their ways, and everybody sticks to their social set from the whole thing. And it's like, I like the kind of, you know, I'm progressive about most, if not all things, but I do have a soft spot for American libertarians because they're kind of like cowboys. They're kind of like, oh, fuck it. I don't want anybody to tell me what to do. You don't have that in Europe.
Right.
You don't have that in Europe.
No.
People in Europe, maybe because of the Catholic past or whatever, but they like being told what to do, either by the state or by this. They like to follow things, the way things must be done. I kind of like about America that it's a little crazy and kooky.
We are kooks.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm an American by choice, which makes me, I think, I have a strong case that immigrants are some of the most American Americans because I chose to. Nobody told me to be here. I chose to be here. This was a conscious choice. So
can we?
I'm stuck with it.
Can we Photoshop just a little American flag?
Yeah.
Like he's Borat?
Yeah, just put yeah. I love this country. That was the worst Borat. Haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it in a while. I haven't seen it.
How are we on time? We good? We wrap. We have enough.
What didn't we talk about?
I know. Where can the fans find you?
The fans can find me on x.com under Gustavo Turner X. Stay
updated and educated.
Yeah. I don't know what happened. Like some catfish had Gustavo Turner, and I've been trying to get them to give it to me, like without the eggs, but they're not good at communicating. And Instagram is Gustavo Turner.
Yes.
Yeah. And you'll see a lot of black and white photos that I shoot, photos of my cats, photos of Lumi when she first started.
Yeah. And
Can I post those again or no? Are we still on the? Okay.
No, it's fine.
Not
I have a
embargoed.
different nose now.
Okay, good. AI. I'm gonna have the AI say, put new nose on all
New
photos.
nose. Oh my. You guys can find me at Lumi_Ray on Instagram. And make sure you subscribe, like, comment, all the things. It helps me get to do this. And thank you, Gustavo, for
Thank
joining
you.
us.
Thank you.